Welcome to Social Media Business, the podcast that covers building, managing, and monetizing social media. Brought to you by online community strategist Laurel Papworth. For more information, go to laurelpapworth.com.
Hello, my name is Laurel Papworth, and I've got about 15 minutes before I catch a plane from Sydney to LA because I'm speaking next week at the Augmented Reality Event, which is augmentedrealityevent.com, strangely enough. I'll be speaking on how to build online communities and going through the steps that you take pretty well one by one, actually, to first of all build and then to maintain your online community. And I'll be using examples in augmented reality to show that. But I thought I'd give you a quick overview today of what I'm going to be talking about. So the first step, always with the strategy, are the questions. What are the questions that the customer or the member has about whether they should join? At the moment, a lot of augmented reality is around what is this thing and kind of cool stuff. But the real community questions are: who am I? Who are you? Where are you? Who are you with? Those sort of things. So finding the questions and then giving tools to answer them is an interesting first step in building the community. And of course, the host has questions as well. Why are we here? What's our brand value? That sort of thing. The second step is about the tools. What tools are we going to use? If it's a tilt thingy, business card or something, or that's cool, but if I can make a video of the thing that's tilting and then send it out to my friends, that takes the community engagement to the next step. So some of the tools might be based around a geolocation or a particular time. You have to be at that location at that time, or at that location at any time, or else it's completely virtual. It's not location based. The other tools are around how people communicate. Is it real time? Is it delayed? Is it one-to-one? Is it many-to-many? Is it a friends network or a strangers network or somewhere in between? Dating being a strangers network. And then I think the next step, I'm rushing through these a little bit, but I'll go in a lot more depth at the conference. The next step would be social identity. Who am I? How do I present myself to the community through my profile, through my content, through my discussions? Who are you? How do we connect? Some of the communities that are coming out at the moment are really reducing down the numbers of people you can connect to. For instance, I find it frustrating on Foursquare that I've got 1,000 people waiting to be my friend, but I can't add them because they limit the number of friends you have. So you have to be very clear in the purpose about who people are connecting to and how they present their identity, because we represent ourselves differently to friends and family, of course, than we do to strangers. We have many social identities. Those profiles include how we're influencers, who are we influencing, and building the influencer relationships. You know, if you get Scobalized or Kawasakiized or something like that, you can end up with a lot more members, but ensuring that the influencers you engage with are going to bring members that will be loyal and interested in the project that you're working on. I guess the next one after social identity is behavior. What sort of behaviors do you want? And this isn't really coming up a lot in augmented reality communities, but it certainly is in social media communities. It's all very well, for instance, to have tagging of location, but what happens when some little group of kids or something decide to tag a school friend's house with obnoxious graffiti, and it becomes cyberbullying and it's all over the press? So what sort of tools are you going to put in place for moderation and administration of the community? How are you going to lead by example? What penalties will there be if they break those rules? If you've built out the influences, the roles and responsibilities, the purpose correctly, the other steps correctly, then the etiquette and the behaviors lead on from that. If you start with etiquette and behaviors and thou shalt nots, it tends not to work so well with communities. I guess the next one after etiquette and behaviors are campaigns. What is there that we can do that's a viral spiked event that has a beginning, a high peak in the middle and an end that bring people to the community and keep them engaged, and then there's a lull and then they come back again. And campaigns go through 5 steps. We'll go through those at the conference. After campaigns, I guess the next one I'd be looking at would be maybe tribes and swarms. So, one before that, which I think is always overlooked, including nearly by me, is rituals. What rituals are you building into your community? So we have rituals about everything we do in life. Hello, how are you? Please, thank you. They're rituals. Rituals are also rites of passage. Happy birthday, Merry Christmas, loss in the community, bereavement, births, weddings, all of this. And then within, Google's very good at picking up on community rituals. So every day they change their logo. But the royal wedding was a ritual that everybody became involved in. Talk like a pirate day. Are there things that you can do in your community, augmented reality or otherwise, that will build out the rituals and make it a richer, more overlaid community, richer layers? The last one is tribes and swarms. So you take everything, all the steps you've done before, and you now allow the community themselves to self-swarm into groups, friends, because social networks are not all-inclusive. One of the things about a social network is, who do I include and who do I exclude? So every community will have within it its friends list, its enemies list, its friends of a friends, recommendation from peers and from influencers. Different kinds of groups will form. And the minute you think about groups and targeting groups rather than individuals, you get that lovely J curve that happens in the growth of online communities. And I think Mark Zuckerberg said it best when he said he doesn't have a social network of 500 million members. He has 500 million social networks. And that's the kind of key thing to think about, because as soon as you start to pitch your tools and behaviors and all the other things that I talked about towards group behavior, you get this really nice growth that happens because people have to talk to their friends and influence their friends and do distributed social networking on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and LinkedIn and all the other sites as well. So that's a really quick summary of what I'm going to be talking about next week at the Augmented Reality event. And I hope you can join me there. And even if you can't, I'll be blogging about it and tweeting about it, no doubt. So I've got to go to the airport. See you.
Welcome to Social Media Business, the podcast that covers building, managing and monetizing social media. Brought to you by online community strategist Laurel Papworth. For more information, go to laurelpapworth.com.